Hello friends, welcome to Lug Life. Welcome to December 30th. Sherry, we have almost made it to where we have vlogged every day in the month of December.
Yep.
And the video that we are posting today is one that we have talked about in a few other videos.
Yep.
This is a video that will focus mostly on you.
Yes.
Because this is an area of huge strength for you and passion. Today, we are talking all about the books that this lovely lady read in 2021.
If you know me, if you know this channel, you know my love of reading.
Yeah, we've talked about it a whole bunch. We've talked about it basically since the start of this channel. Books, reading, literary stuff is just something that Sherry is really, really great at. Something I am really, really not great at. And so again, this video will mostly focus almost exclusively on Sherry, as it should. As it should. And so some of the things we're going to talk about are the number of books she read this year, favorite books, least favorite books, books that you revisited. But then we're also going to talk a little bit about 2022.
Yep.
I want to know some of your reading goals for the year, so we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to ask Sherry is kind of the number, because this is one of the things that just, I'm married to you, and this number still blows me away. How many books, as of today, have you read so far in 2021?
I have completed 109.
Sherry! And you're currently reading 3.
3.
We're going to talk about what those books are later.
Right.
How many of those books do you think, realistically, you will finish by the end of this year?
1.
So you'll probably hit 110 books.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that I've read 110 books my whole life. But what was your original reading goal for the year?
My original goal was 75.
Okay.
I kind of intentionally set it low. I know. Well, low for me.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't sure what this year was going to look like.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, obviously we didn't know what this year was going to look like. And it was, you know, with COVID sort of going away, kind of near the end of last year, and at like me being back in the office completely full time, it just seemed like I wasn't going to have as much time to read as I did the previous year.
Because the previous year you read how many books?
155.
That's genuinely an insane number.
It's a lot, and so I was just like, that's not going to happen 2 years in a row.
So basically you cut your reading goal in half.
Right, so I cut it, and then 2021 happened.
Yeah, and so if you guys are new here, you don't remember, Sherry got sick basically at the end of 2020 and spent the first number of months in 2021 sick and basically like living in your chair, honestly.
Right.
Now, in some ways, you could be like, well, think of all that time you had to read. However, that's actually not how it worked out.
That's not really how it worked out. And honestly, when I was looking at my completed books for this year, I was just like, how is it so much lower than last year when literally the first 5 months of the year, I didn't leave my chair. But being as sick as I was, it affected my sleep, it affected my eyes.
Yeah, you were having a hard time like looking at things.
I was having a really hard time focusing on hard books and definitely couldn't read any screens. So, it was really, literally just a lot of sitting.
So you start the year with a goal of 75 books. You hit that goal. Do you remember when you hit that about, roughly even?
I think probably, honestly, like mid-summer, late summer, I hit that goal.
And then you raised your goal.
And so I raised it to 100.
Yep.
Honestly, when I raised it to 100, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it because there's not that, based on how much I've read already this year, I don't think I can read another 25 books.
So when you raised your goal to 100, did you raise it after that, or you were just kind of like...
No, I just left it at 100.
Okay, so you blew past your reading goal.
I passed my reading goal, yeah.
You guys, it is so many books.
Well, and it's funny because on my Goodreads, it literally just says 2021 Reading Challenge, 109 of 100.
So, I'm going to link to Sherry's Goodreads down below. Here's what I would say. Those of you who know what Goodreads is, you're the only ones who need to know. Like, the rest of us who don't really know what Goodreads is,
it's fine.
We don't need to know what it is.
It's fine.
It's a social media for literary nerds.
Correct. It's where I keep track of all of the books that I read.
So I will say, if you are interested in knowing more about Sherry's reading journey, Goodreads is a great place to connect with her. So I will link that down below. But Sherry, let's move past. I'm checking out the next question. You ready?
Yep.
So we talked about the fact that you finished 109 books. You're currently reading 3 books.
Yep.
What are the 3 books you're currently reading?
I'm currently reading a book called Text Me on Tuesday, which was...
Hold on. Hold on. I need to explain something. If you ever want to buy a book for Sherry and you're perusing a bookstore, if you see a book that has a title that also could be a Hallmark movie title, that book is okay to buy.
Correct.
That is one of the things that I've learned.
Correct.
That, if there's a book that is just Hallmark movie in book form, Sherry will love it.
Absolutely.
Text Me on Tuesday.
Text Me on Tuesday.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
It's actually a whole series.
Great.
But this first one, the first one in the series is called Text Me on Tuesday, and it was actually an Instagram ad that popped up, and it had the caption as the...
They got ya.
I know. And
they got ya.
And the cover of the book is the photo, and I was like, this looks like a book I'd like. And so I read the caption, and I was like, this is definitely a book I'd like. And so you can click it right there, and it takes you right to Kindle Unlimited and Amazon, where you can just read it.
Perfect.
So that's what I did.
So Text Me on Tuesday.
Yes. I'm also reading the 12 Days of Dash and Lily, which is book 2 in the Dash and Lily series.
I think we showed it in a recent vlog, because you bought those at Barnes & Noble.
Yes.
Right? I think we showed you buying them in a video.
Yes.
Is there 3 books?
Yes.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And the 3rd book you're reading?
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Which is book number...
4.
4, I was going to say 5.
It's 4.
And you're rereading Harry Potter.
I'm rereading Harry Potter.
How's it going?
It's going okay. It's weird because this is probably the 7th time that I've read it, and I'm having a harder time getting into it. And it's not that I enjoy it any less, it's just, I think my brain is just not there.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling it. So as I'm reading it, I'm still just like, this is just amazing and I love it. Why can't I just get into it? But I can't. So it's taken me a really long time to get to book 4.
I will say that is one thing I've noticed. I feel like you've been reading Harry Potter for a long time.
For a while.
And that's very unlike you.
It's rare because I usually just blow through them.
Completely.
But I'm struggling a little bit.
In fact, I will have you guys know, when I asked her earlier, because we talked about these questions before, when I asked her what book she's currently reading and she said Harry Potter book, I was like,
You're
really?
still reading the series?
Oh my gosh.
You alright?
I'm fine. I didn't sneeze on any of your books.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think I might have more, and so I don't want to continue with the questions.
Okay. We're gonna give you a second.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Welcome to Leg Life.
I think we're good.
You sure?
No.
It was really funny because your eye was twitching.
My eye was twitching because I didn't want to interrupt you while you're talking. I was like, no sneeze, no sneeze, no sneeze. Okay.
Good.
I didn't cover much other than my arm in snot.
Gross.
I think we're fine. Okay, so that's what you're currently reading.
Yes.
Now I want to talk about, I called them new discoveries.
Yeah.
So these are books or series that you read for the very first time this year that make it on your must-read or recommended reading list.
And I will read them again list.
Exactly. So when Sherry reads books, you are, and I appreciate this about you, there are series that you just fall in love with that just kind of become almost like part of your reading routine. They're, like you said, you read Harry Potter, this is number 7. Mm-hmm. And so these are books or series that will make it into that routine.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So your new discoveries that you read in 2021 that you fell in love with, what are they?
First one is called The Library of Lost Things.
Okay.
And I forget where I stumbled on this. I think it came up in a Goodreads recommendation, and I was like, this looks cute. And then I went and found it at Barnes & Noble and kind of read the back of it, and I was like, okay, I can get into this. And then I devoured it.
What is it about?
It's about a girl who is struggling with her mother's mental illness.
Wow. Okay.
And kind of her...
Is it heavy?
A little bit, but
okay.
it's dealt with kind of head on in the book, and I really appreciate it, and it was just very well written. And then she has people in her life who know, she kind of tries to hide it from everybody, that her mother struggles with this, and how it affects their life. And her best friend knows, and then she meets this guy, and he kind of gets to her a little bit, and he has his own kind of struggles, and so it was just very well written, and it's one that I can't wait to read again.
So and this is going to show you the difference between Sherry and I. You explaining that, all I can think about is like what a powerful movie that would be.
Honestly, yes.
Like that would be such a powerful story.
There are some books that as I'm reading it, I'm like, this would make a really good movie or a really good TV series or something like that. Yes, it was really good, and I highly recommend it.
So one of the things, and I have not told Sherry this, and I hope you're willing to help me with this because I really need your help. In the video description down below, I want to put links to all of these because we got a comment recently. I think it was on a comment on a video or maybe an Instagram post. Somebody basically said,
Claire said this.
It was Claire who said this, that's right. Claire basically said that every time Sherry recommends a book, I instantly go and buy it.
She pauses the video and goes and buys the book and then goes back
but there are a lot of people who like rely on you and who look to you for these recommendations. So what we're going to do is after we finish this video, I'm going to put links down below in the video description to all of the books that Sherry loves. Does that sound good? Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Okay. All of the books that I'm talking about here.
Library of Lost Things. Okay. So that is a book I did not know what that was about. This is the first time you and I have ever talked about this book.
Right.
That's powerful.
It's one of those books that like I read it and I was like, that was so good, but it hasn't gone away. And I think I read it fairly early in the year, and it's just one of those that's like it's been sitting on my bookshelf, and I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this book. Like, I will read it again, and I can't wait to read it again.
Dang. Okay. So other new discoveries. What else?
Other new discoveries. I'm going to talk about this series that I have sitting next to me right here.
Let's see it.
This is my only show and tell.
Okay. It's the only book series you brought down because you wanted to show them. Because this is the power of marketing. Yep. Really. So I was at Tidal Wave, which is our used bookstore here in town, and I passed this series on the bookshelf, and I was like, that's cute, and I was like, wait, that's really cute, and I went back, and I read the backs of all the books, and I was like, I need to buy these, and the entire series, I think, was, I don't remember, I want to say like $30 for the 4 books, which is not bad. No, it's great.
And I think we had credit, we had store credit, so I don't think we actually paid for them at all. But here,
this is really pretty,
is what they look like. Look at how pretty. Yep.
You guys, like the spines of the book. So basically you walk past the bookshelf and see that, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
and I was like,
hooked.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All 4 books.
What is the series called?
The series is called 9 Realms.
Okay.
Which is honestly a weird thing because they mention the 9 Realms like 2 times. It doesn't really make sense, sort of. And I'm gonna complain for just a minute here.
We'll do it. Complain away.
Before I get into why I actually like the books, the names.
Oh, okay. This is the only thing that I know 2 things about this series. I knew the fact that the spines hooked Sherry, and then I have heard this rant many times this year. Okay,
so this series was released a month apart. I think they were released in 2020 or early 2021.
Wait,
I don't
each
remember.
book was released a month apart?
Each book. So like the first one, and then a month later the second one, a month later the third one, a month later the fourth one. Which, kudos. Love that.
I love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Because I hate having to read a book and then have to wait 2 years for the author to get around to writing the next one.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So I loved that, and I mean, I found them after the fact anyway. But here's the names of the books. I'm going to read them as they are. A Queen in Hiding, The Queen of Raiders, A Broken Queen, The Cerulean Queen.
Yep.
Okay, first of all, the articles at the beginning. The. Pick one and stick with it. Second of all, I think that they should have been named A Hidden Queen or The Hidden Queen, The Raiders Queen, The Broken Queen, and The Cerulean Queen.
Yeah.
I just think, like, as a series, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well,
it's fine.
Well, Sorry, go ahead.
I can't change the titles of the books. But if I could, that's what I would change them to.
So to me, now I approach this from a marketing standpoint, right? Because like that's one of the things that I do is like marketing stuff. And to me, it's interesting because they've so branded these books together with like the look of the spine and everything fits together. And I agree with you. When I visually even look at the titles,
it's like
they aren't as like intertwined and connected as even the visual elements of the books.
Right. I feel like they named the first two A Queen in Hiding, The Queen of Raiders, and then they're like, how do we talk about the Queen of Broken? That doesn't make sense. We'll just call it a Broken Queen. And
Missed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a missed opportunity.
But you love these books.
I loved these books. And honestly, okay, so the first one, I bought them purely because I loved the spines. The first one took me, it was probably 3/4 of the way through before I was like, okay, I might like this book.
Oh. You didn't know instantly.
I didn't know. It took me a minute to really actually get into it. So about 3/4 of the way through the first one. And then I was like, okay, I like this character. I like where she's going. I like the characters she surrounded herself with.
You just punched me in the arm.
I did. And then the other 3 books went along that vein. So I will read them again. I did love them. Like I said, it did take me a minute. So if you get into it and you're just like, this is not great, this is boring, keep pushing through. Make it through the first one, and then they get better.
So I want to ask you a question. For people, I'm trying to think how to word this. People who like what other series would like this? You know what I mean by that question? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you liked Hunger Games, or if you liked... These are the series that I know, you guys. Come on.
It's not as apocalyptic as the Hunger Games. Ooh, I think A Court of Thorns and Roses, maybe.
Okay.
Throne of Glass, maybe. Those are a little more graphic. These are not.
Okay.
So, but the female character in them in these is
okay.
It stands up to those.
So that's the second recommendation. Your second new discovery. Yes. Your third new discovery.
I have to look at the list.
Okay, the list is right here. You want me to tell you what it was?
Yep. Okay. So this series is called Whithersoever.
This is so cool, you guys.
I love this. Okay, so there's 3 books currently. And hopefully there's more coming because it left on quite the cliffhanger. But these were actually written by a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
So in January of last year, he... I think I actually might have reached out to him and I was like, hey, can I edit your book?
This was so cool.
Because he was writing it. He was in the process of writing it. And I think he was looking for like people just to kind of get extra eyes on it for editing. And I was like, me, because he's written another book called The Blood Pines, which was amazing.
You also love that book.
Yep. And so his name is Matt Beers. Good personal friend of ours. Mm-hmm. And so he had me edit, kind of proofread the first book, and I loved it. And so when it was actually published, I bought it immediately and read it again. So it's funny because on my Goodreads, I was just telling Adam this, on my Goodreads in my 2021 bookshelf, it says I've read 108 books, and on my reading challenge, it says I've read 109 because I read Whithersoever twice. And so my bookshelf only counts it as 1 book read. But then there's 2 other books in the series. They're all available on Amazon.
Yeah, we'll link those below.
Yep. Now, so good. He's such a good writer. And his characters are so, like, vibrant.
I want to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So, just so you know, Matt, and I genuinely mean this, is one of the most creative people I've ever met in my life.
Not just in the realm of writing.
No.
Writing is just one of the things that he does ridiculously well.
Genuinely amazing. Like, I'm inspired by the things that he creates and does. It's phenomenal. Now, there are some things that it's like, oh man, our friend made this. It's really good. But it's really good because your friend made this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is this book good because our friend made it, or is it genuinely a good book? If the name on the book wasn't Matt Beers, if the name was Samuel L. Schmackson, would it be as good?
Yes. I believe so. I don't know if I would have found it
Fair.
if Matt hadn't been talking about it. So it's one of those like happy accidents. I'm so glad that I found out that he was writing these books. And so he wrote 3 just like quick succession.
Yeah.
And then needed to take a writing break and like focus on, you know, his wife and children. So,
and we're also gonna, so here's what I'll do is down in the description where we're listing books, I will also list his book, The Blood Pines, because that's another book that you love.
excellent.
So we're gonna list all of Matt's books down there. And then Sherry, the 4th and final new hold on, give me my moment. There was not a book or a book series discussed more in the Legg household did I have something on my
You
face?
had a messy hair on your glasses.
In 2021 than this. Not because of me.
Because of me and Auburn.
Because of you and Auburn. I've heard so much about this series. Sherry, tell us about it.
Okay, so we were in Barnes & Noble. And I think I was looking at like the sale table or something. I don't remember. It was just one of like the tables, like kind of when you first walk in. And Auburn was getting something and you were in like the cafe.
That sounds right.
And I just picked up this book and I was like, it was cute. It would like the cover of it was cute. And I was like, what's this about? And I was like, oh, it's set in Alaska. That's fun. And I was reading the back of it and I was like, this legit sounds like a Hallmark book set in Alaska. And so I was like, I think I need to buy this. So I showed Auburn and she was like, yes, we're buying this. And so we bought it and then I read it and she read it. And then we found out that there were 2 other books in the series and we immediately went and bought those. I think we got them online. Like before we were done reading this book, we had purchased the other 2. And they're so cute. So it's called The Tourist Attraction.
Of course it is.
And then the other subsequent books. It was so cute. Like,
so if you like Hallmark movies,
and this book is very clearly set in Girdwood, but it's not called Girdwood, but it's 45 minutes from Anchorage, and it's like all of these things, but then there's like little things about it that are like, that's not true.
This was one of my, when I think back to highlights of 2021, the entire year, listening in to Sherry and Auburn talk about these books was one of the highlights, because you guys would both be like, oh, this is clearly Girdwood, and this is clearly this in Girdwood, and this is clearly that. But then...
we clearly went to Seward for...
That's right, but then it would also be like, that's not right.
Right.
There's none of... It was so funny.
And just like little things that I was like, I don't feel like that's accurate.
Oh my gosh.
But so cute. Like, really just so well written. The characters are so fun.
You and Auburn should co-lead a book club with that book series. That's what you should do, a book club in. You and Auburn.
Probably.
Like that series, get people to read it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But like the things that were off about it were hilarious because like such quick Google searches would have been like, that's not true.
They're like a pot of narwhals.
There's a pot of narwhals in like turning an arm. Narwhals don't exist there. There's belugas, which are kin to the narwhals, but there's no narwhals. Funny. But it's just like that sort of thing, and I was like, that's not accurate.
Nope.
But it didn't matter because the books were so cute.
So those are the 4 new discoveries.
Yeah.
Like those books and those series will make it on your read over and over list.
Yes, absolutely.
Now let's talk about duds. And the duds aren't necessarily books that you hated, like you hated Crazy Rich Asians, as everybody knows that.
I for sure did.
Sherry for sure hated that book. Any duds on the list this year? And if so, why would they have been duds?
No real duds. Nothing that I was just like, this is terrible.
Okay.
People are gonna not be happy with me about this one. I had a really hard time getting into Fablehaven. And I had so many of you guys recommend this series to me and like, it's the best ever. I had a hard time. I read the whole first book and then I just couldn't make myself read the rest. I bought the rest.
So we own them all?
So we own them all. Because I do actually want to read them and I'm hoping that like it gets better maybe as it goes on. I just had a really hard time getting into it.
Okay.
But I didn't hate it. It wasn't just like, this is the worst book ever, like Crazy Rich Asians. It just didn't catch me.
Okay.
It didn't grab me.
So that's the only book out of 109 books, there's only one that makes it on your dud list.
I think so, yeah. I mean,
Dang. That's amazing.
And I honestly, I wouldn't even call it a dud. It wasn't.
It didn't meet your expectations.
It didn't meet my expectations.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So now we've talked about new discoveries. We've talked about duds. Now I want to talk about old friends. You guys, I titled all these. Like I had to have.
Yeah, he did.
I had to have
He
like
did.
chapter
It literally
titles.
says new discoveries, duds, old friends.
Don't make fun of me.
I am a little.
I have so little that I bring to this video. Let me bring good titles. Okay, so old friends. These are books or series that you've read before, but that you reread this year and kind of like rediscovered your love for.
Yep.
What's on the list?
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay.
I reread those.
You've talked about these books before.
I've talked about them before. I really loved them, and I actually when we were sick, or when I was sick, we went to Barnes & Noble and we bought the whole series in like paperback because it was at that point it was easier for me to read like books than my Nook or my Kindle, and I have them all on my Nook, but I just couldn't do the screen thing. So we went and bought like the paperback books. And there's a new book that came out this year in the series, so I wanted that. They're so good.
I remember, because we vlogged that trip to Barnes & Noble when you were sick and bought them. And I remember...
That was like my first big outing.
It was first big outing, but I also remember in the comments of that video, so many of you guys were so excited that she was buying like that series, because a lot of you guys love... Because A Court of Thorns Rose, but you guys call it a...
ACOTAR.
ACOTAR, that's what it is. Like, so it's so funny, because whenever one of you guys use that in the comments, I'm like, these are Sherry's people.
Yeah.
These are Sherry's people for sure.
Yeah.
ACOTAR.
ACOTAR.
Nerds.
Well, yeah, I know. I do love these books, and it's a series that it's by Sarah J. Maas, and she also wrote Fern of Glass, and I want to own all of the hardbacks of those as well, or paperbacks.
Those were on your Christmas list, but I couldn't find the whole series.
I know, they're
still
hard.
searching.
I know. So I feel like the lighting changed. Did the lighting change?
You guys, did you get weird?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's
fine.
okay. I think, is that the only series that I reread, aside from Harry Potter? Mm-hmm. I think that might be the only rereads.
Okay. So that's kind of...
year.
So those were the main headings. We are going to get into your 2022. But I also, before we leave 2021 and get into 2022, there is something that I'm really proud of you that you did this year.
Okay.
Because this past January, you launched your Bookstagram account.
I did.
You started Sherry's Bookshelf. If you guys don't know,
did.
down below, and I don't know that we've ever told it on a vlog, the story of the name Sherry's Bookshelf and how we actually need to apologize to one of you.
Yeah, to Carrie Miller.
We need to repent and ask for forgiveness. So as we were thinking of, and we're discussing, because we talked for a long time about you starting a Bookstagram account.
Yeah, and what to call it, and we just couldn't figure it out.
And so we looked
and
at
then we started like searching for names that were available.
Like and other popular, like, what do
hard.
people name their Bookstagram pages? And one of the things that we saw was like, it's popular to have bookshelf in there.
Right.
And we're like, oh, Sherry's Bookshelf. Perfect. Great. Grab the name. And then, so we get the name all set up. I think you might have even had your first post. And then we realize Carrie Miller from Adventures in Millerland, the Carrie Miller, has a Bookstagram account called Carrie's Bookshelf.
So now we have Carrie's Bookshelf and Sherry's Bookshelf.
I feel so bad.
I sent her a message and I was like, I'm so sorry. I wasn't meaning to like encroach or like steal your name. And she was super gracious. She's like, it's fine.
We would have shut it down if they would have asked us to. Let's be very clear. We would have shut it down and called it something else.
I felt really bad. And I feel still bad. But honestly, like, we tried so many different names and there was like nothing available.
Nothing.
Like, we tried misspelling my name and I was like, I don't want to misspell my name, but like, that's the only way. It was ridiculous.
But you got Sherry's Bookshelf.
We got
and
it.
it has over 600 followers.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
So again, I will link that. Lots of links down below. So that's 2021. Those were like the books you read, some of the highlights. Now let's look at 2022.
Okay.
Okay? I want to know just a couple things. Number one, what's your reading goal? How many books are you going for this year?
I'm going for 100.
Okay.
I feel like 75 is a little low. It's a easy goal to hit, but I feel like 100 is going to push me.
If I read 75 books in a year, that's how I would introduce myself to people. Hello, Adam Legg, I read 75 books this year. Like, that would be the greatest achievement.
Okay, but like, so I feel like 100, because I hit it, but I only passed it by 9. So
That's
it's not
true.
like I like blew past it.
So it's still like, you still have to work for
I
it.
still have to work for it a little bit.
That's fair. That's a
Yeah.
good goal.
Yeah.
So 100. And now, are there any series, because I know that sometimes you are a strategic reader. Like, you'll say, oh, this is the year I reread Harry Potter. Or this is the year. So as we're
Which
heading...
I said last year, because I wanted to reread Harry Potter this year.
Exactly. Are there any series, as we head into 2022, that you already have planned to reread?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
2, for sure. I want to reread The Red Queen, because he bought me the series.
For Christmas.
On paperback.
Yep.
Again, another series that I have on my Nook. But I just like the paper. I just like holding the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that whole series now in paperback, so I want to reread those. And then I also want to reread The Iron Fae. It's been a couple of years since I've read it, and there's a new book
That's out or that's coming out? Do you own it?
No.
Sherry!
Because I own the first 2. I think Christmas actually sent me the first 2. But I can't find the rest of them.
Well, that's our 2022 hunt to get Sherry. This is my book challenge. Not how many books am I going to read. It's to find Sherry the entire Iron Fae series.
I know, and you know what? Honestly, like, it's really hard to find that they're all the same size, the same, like, covers.
It's true.
Tidal Wave, I can't find them. I've looked at Barnes & Noble. I've looked on Amazon.
We're going to do it.
They're really hard to find.
We're going to do it.
I know.
Okay? So, friends, that is the Sherry's book update for 2021, 2022 goals. I'm so proud of you. I've said this a lot of times. I am not a reader, but watching the way that you get lost in books and watching the way that you, like, spend time with those friends between the pages is inspiring to me, and I love it. And books are one of those things that, like, I just never say no to buying you. Like, when we go to the store and you want a book, like, I feel like the answer is always yes, because this is just one of the greatest, like, joys of your life. Watching you read is clear that this is something you genuinely love.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, I was actually upstairs, like, getting these books to bring down, and I was looking at the bookshelf, and I was just like, I have so many books on my want to read list that I already own, and then there's so many books on my, like, want to buy list because I want to read, and it's overwhelmingly exciting.
Well, friends, again, all of the links down below. We will go and find as many things as we possibly can to link you guys to. Go follow Sherry's bookshelf. Also go follow Carrie's bookshelf, because I just feel so darn terrible. I totally swiped the name.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's so dumb. Friends, we love you guys so very much. Book questions, book thoughts, book recommendations in the comments below. I know I will be reading them. Also, if that's with books, I know Sherry will be reading them. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with our final vlog of 2021 and the video that will complete December.
Yeah.
We vlogged every single day this month. We love you, friends. We'll see you tomorrow.